The following is sponsored by Virtua. Virtua supports local sports.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for episode 24 of the South Jersey Sports Digest Show, coming to you from the studios of Sterling High School's Channel 19 here in Somerdale. Thanks for watching us on Comcast Cable Channel 97 in Gloucester County, which is also seen on Channel 34 on Verizon. That's the Gloucester County Education Network, and of course TV 19 in portions of Camden County, western Camden County, that is, including Haddon Township, Haddon Heights, Audubon, Oak Lynn, Haddonfield, Barrington, and Lawnside. Of course, you can see the show on those two channels at 10:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And of course, you can watch our show anytime online at our website, www.sjsportsdigest.com. We've got a lot of great stuff for you today. But first, don't forget, you can download the South Jersey Sports Digest app by visiting your app store by searching for South Jersey Sports Digest. With the basketball playoffs just days away, you don't want to miss a score. Be the first to know where your team stands in the race for a state championship. Plus, spring is by far the busiest sports season on the calendar, so follow each and every move your team makes. Download the SJSD app today. We've also got two great guests coming your way today here on the South Jersey Sports Digest Show. We've got the assigner of basketball officials in the South Jersey area. Jeff Cohen is with us. He's also a football assigner as well and referee, so we'll talk to him about his job and what it takes to do that. We'll also be joined by Anastasia of the Philadephia Inquirer, so be sure to stay tuned. But first, let's talk about swimming and a swimming sweep, if you will, as all three teams competing for state titles from South Jersey all won, on the boys' side at least. Public A, you see Cherry Hill East squeaks by Westfield 86-84. That meet came down to the wire. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Cougars capture those. You see their 11th state title. Moorestown wins their second straight state title and their 35th consecutive dual meet win, knocking off Scotch Plains Fanwood 94-76. Haddonfield beats Tenafly 92-78. The Bulldogs win the inaugural Group C title. This year we had, if you remember last week, we had Coach Bob Corbin on from Haddonfield Swimming. Talk to us about the new Group C development that the state added, and there you go. Haddonfield, his team wins it 92-78. Next up here on the show, we'll take a look at the South Jersey Sports Digest Total Turf Athletes of the Week. We will stay in the pool. We'll talk about Duncan Brookover, the senior from Cherry Hill East. He came from behind in the anchor leg of the 400 free relay to help the Cougars win that race, which is the last race of the meet. And of course, with the victory, gives Cherry Hill East the 86-84 victory and the Public A state championship. Duncan Brookover is our South Jersey Sports Digest Total Turf Boys Athlete of the Week. And let's go from the pool. From the pool to the track, and that's going to be an indoor track. And there you see Gabrielle Bennett, the senior from Winslow Township High School. Bennett is headed to UMass. She was the only girl to clear 5 feet 8 inches and walked out of the Bennett Center in Toms River with the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association, that's easy for me to say, Meet of Champions title in the high jump. Bennett beat the defending state champion in the event, North Brunswick's Nina Eby, who was only able to clear 5'6". Bennett also collected a silver medal in the hurdles. She previously won the high jump and hurdles at the state Group 3 meet as well a week ago. So congratulations to Gabrielle Bennett, senior track star from Winslow Township, the Total Turf South Jersey Sports Digest Female Athlete of the Week. Let's bring in our guest now, and it is Jeff Cohen, assigner for Board 34 of the IAABO, and he's also an assigner for the New Jersey Football Officials Association, the sub-varsity football and chain crews. Jeff, thanks for stopping by. We greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mike. Glad to be here.
Jeff, talk about a little bit about, first of all, it's obviously we're right in the heat of basketball season, and you're assigning guys. I guess what's the biggest challenge of your job? Is it when the weather hits and you've got to scramble and the schedules change?
Yeah, I would say the worst thing that I go through is snow. And it just ruins everything because the games get canceled, they get moved to other dates, and then as we get later in the season, they'll be forced to some of the schools will be forced to cancel some good non-conference games because they must make up the conference games, and then certain people aren't available. Certain officials that I would want in certain games are not available now because they already have a game, or they're working college, or they're just not available when the game gets moved. So I hate snow. And more than hating snow, I hate people who like snow.
Well, you're going to get no argument with me. I'm right there with you.
Right.
I got stuck at it on Saturday, and that was a mess for
Yes.
sure. Jeff, now you've been at it for a while as an official on both the basketball court and the football field. We'll stick with basketball for a few minutes here. First of all, as a guy who's been an official and now you're an assigner, what does it take? What kind of personality does somebody need to be successful as an official? How do guys get into that role?
I think the biggest thing is you have to be a problem solver. You can't have, to be successful, you really can't have an attitude. You got to be able to take a little stuff. People are going to challenge you. You have to be able to take that. You have to be able to be told you screwed that up, even if you think you didn't. And you have to be a good communicator. You have to be able to, especially in basketball, when they're right on top of you, you have to be able to communicate with a coach. If you can't communicate with a coach, then you're going to not be a successful basketball official. Football's a little easier in that you're a little bit more anonymous with the hat on and the people away from you.
Right.
But in basketball, you hear everything.
Now, let's see. Going on that regard and hearing everything and thinking about being inside, what's the toughest gym to officiate in South Jersey?
There's several of them.
I'm not talking about the coaches inside, but just the whole.
Gloucester Catholic is a tough place to work. They have great fans. They're fun. They're tough, but they're fun. And then you have the one baseline where there is no baseline, and that's a tough place to work. But that's a fun place to work because that's old school.
Right.
That's Hoosiers, 1954, whatever it was, and that's a fun place to work. I'd say Gloucester Catholic is one of the toughest places to work. Of course, Camden High School, with all their tradition, is an honor to work at. And then there's a lot of other great places too. But if I had to pick one, it would be Gloucester Catholic.
Now let's see. When you're talking about, you've seen a lot of players, you've seen a lot of great games. Anything that sticks out in your mind in terms of maybe the greatest game you've seen as an official in basketball?
The greatest game that I worked.
Sure.
As an official.
Yes.
Well, and that's a tough one. You have me thinking. Anytime I was honored to get Gloucester Catholic, which I had 3 times in my career, I'd say that they were the best. They were the most fun games that I ever worked. I got to work DeJuan Wagner a lot, and he was the best player I ever officiated. Since we're at Sterling, Ernest Turner was a great player that I officiated, but DeJuan, I started officiating in '84, varsity in '87. DeJuan's the best player that I ever officiated.
You jumped in on my next question there.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, but I was going there anyway, so it didn't matter. But Jeff, now you have, obviously we talked basketball, football as well. Same thing. Who's the best football player you've seen on the field, and how long have you been at it in terms of football?
I've been officiating football since '90. The best high school football player that I ever officiated was Kevin Harvey at Paulsboro, bar none. Now, I officiated Ron Dane, and he was just dominating. But Kevin Harvey was just special. He took a punt back against Haddon Heights. I was the back judge, and I swore I was going to tear both hamstrings, trying to semi-keep up with him. He was an amazing athlete, Kevin Harvey, easily.
Now, Jeff, how does, if somebody is interested in becoming an official, basketball or football, maybe you could tell us both, how would one go about getting into that, and what are the steps you need to do to pursue that?
Well, the steps are the same. Of course, the organizations would be different.
Mm-hmm.
Football would be www.njfoasouth.org, and then you go find the cadet program. Basketball is board34.com, and then you find the cadet program. But basically, both programs have a cadet program with a cadet instructor, and you start going to classes, you start learning the rules, and they put you on the field or the court in your first year doing sub-varsity sports, and you learn how to officiate, and then you continue to move up. There's camps, especially for basketball. There's a lot of camps to move up and improve your officiating, and then you have to have the assigner have confidence in you and go out and see your work and move you from a tough JV game like a Paul VI Bishop Eustace or a Camden Catholic JV game in basketball, see how you handle that big crowd and that big assignment, and then move up to varsity from there.
And I bet how many guys are under your charge there that do the region you handle?
Well, in basketball, we have about 250 officials.
Wow.
Yeah. We cover all of Camden, all of Burlington, and most of Gloucester County.
Very nice, very nice. So a ton of guys out there doing work, and
ton of women too.
True. And let's not forget too that these guys and gals are working hard. They're doing their best. You know, not everybody gets every call right, Jeff. And I know that you can attest to that. I'm sure you've heard your share of heat from the fans or from the coaches. But I think in the end, everybody knows what it's all about. You guys are doing what you can to try and get it right.
Thank you. We are.
And so that's Jeff Cohen. Again, he's the assigner for basketball in our Gloucester County, Camden County, Burlington County area. He also assigns football officials as well throughout South Jersey. We want to thank Jeff for stopping by and joining us, and some great insights from the men in the stripes.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
All right.
We're going to step away now. We're going to take a look at a recent video, School of the Week video, brought to you by Virtua. It's Camden Catholic. Take a peek.
The following is sponsored by Virtua. Virtua supports local sports.
I am Marlene Grimes, and the athletic director here at Camden Catholic High School. All of the kids say it. It's a family atmosphere. They care about you here, and you can see that just in the way they support the teams, they support the Arts Academy. It's family oriented here.
When you come into Camden Catholic, no matter if you come from Catholic school or public school, you're welcomed. You're one of many. You work together, you spend tons of time with people, and you just learn to accept each other. And there's none other like it.
When I shadowed here, I walked in and I was walking down senior hallway with my shadow, and everyone said hello to me. Everyone just really made me feel welcome, and the fact to have, you're in 8th grade and to have seniors talking to you, it's like, well, oh my God, they're actually talking to me. But when you come here, you just feel at home, and it's just that sense of everyone's a family.
So being at Camden Catholic, something you'll find very unique about the school is that we're not just a one-track mind. We're not all academics, we're not all athletics, we're not all arts. No matter what you're doing or you're participating in, you're always supported. Your friends are always coming to see you. Your teachers are always going to be out to see the events that you're involved in. Whatever it may be, we're always coming together, making sure everyone's okay.
I think even if you aren't involved with the sports here, everyone is unconditionally supportive. And our sports teams are successful, but even if they weren't, I still think that that's one of the things that sets Camden Catholic apart, that everyone loves to get involved in everything.
Not only do we support each other like a family, we push each other like a family. Whether it be at practice, if you need a pick-me-up, and your friend, just like your brother or sister would be in helping and supporting you, they go and they push you. They push you through the hard times. They help you through the hard times, and it honestly gets to you. Also, in the family aspect, a lot of our coaches and faculty and staff, they're alumni. So they've been through it, and they know how it is. So if you ever need help or if you ever need a push, they'll be there for you.
The coaches are they're not just your basketball coach or your football coach, they're life coaches. They give you advice on life, and to just put you in the right direction and make you become a better person.
It's just every teacher is just prepare us for the real world and treat us as adults and get us ready for college and just prepare us for the world. My defensive coach, I still talk to him like almost every day about colleges and stuff. But it's a huge part of my life. He really is a great role model, and he helps me out as much as possible, like trying to find schools, and just always checking up on me, see how I'm doing.
They're kind of like a parent and like a role model that you can look up to. They're like somewhere there for you to talk to if you need it. They're just always there for you. They're pushing you forward, taking you to the right direction. So it's nice to be able to come to school and have someone there like that.
Something that sets our education apart is our teachers put us on the same level as they are. We're one with them, and that really, raises our level of education. So I feel like I'm constantly learning because I feel supported by the people I'm around, and I feel like we're all one.
I think students make this school what it is and make it a family environment. But I also think the teachers, the administration, I think our alumni base is huge. So I think those aspects of Camden Catholic make us what we are.
There's a certain person, there's a certain piece to the puzzle that fits within the Camden Catholic family. And that's how this spirit, this unity, this community and family kind of develops.
Everywhere I go, no matter where I go, people ask me where you go to high school. I say Camden Catholic. They're like, oh, I went there, or my cousin went there. You just feel that connection with people. And that's something that I really like, to be able to carry on that legacy and hopefully carry that on to my own children and their children. And I think it's cool that it's had so much history and that there's so many people that have been involved with it and care about it so much.
And there you have the Virtua Health South Jersey Sports Digest School of the Week Camden Catholic. You'll be able to find any of the School of the Week videos on our website at www.sjsportsdigest.com. Our next guest is going to be from the Philadephia Inquirer, Phil Anastasia. But before we get to Phil, let's talk about wrestling real quick. And the road to Atlantic City churns on for individuals as they try to reach state championship level. Let's start off by taking a look back at last week's district action. There you see the team district winners in wrestling. District 25 Northern Burlington was the host and won the team title by 5 points over Allentown. You see District 29 there. Clearview slipped past Paulsboro for the crown there, and what was a bit of a surprise, but Clearview has had a strong season. But when the two teams met in a dual match, Paulsboro prevailed. Senior Eddie Lankowski won his 4th district title there for Clearview as well. You see Highland wins its 3rd straight title there in District 30 among the highlights there. Let's take a look at the most outstanding wrestlers from each district. And you see Whittington there from Trenton takes the District 25 title away from any of the South Jersey area wrestlers. Kenny Long is now 33-5, beat the #1 seed in District 26. Mark McCormick was one of 4 repeat champions there at District 27. Martinac won it at 182. Mike Van Brill avenged a fall and a loss in last year's 126 title bout to win at 132 against Paulsboro's Sam Marina. District 30, McNeil wins it there at 160. Kinner, just a freshman, picked up the hardware there, winning at 106 and remaining unbeaten. And in District 32, Pat Darcy, Holy Spirit, wins his 4th straight district crown and he was a recent Total Turf Athlete of the Week here on South Jersey Sports Digest show. And finally, here's the region schedule for this week. Of course, some of that action already taking place on Wednesday and also Friday and Saturday. Of course, the 2 regions that the South Jersey area most focused on, Region 7 and 8 at Robbinsville and at Egg Harbor Township. Look for stories on our website previewing the Region 7 and 8 competition and, of course, coverage of the champions on the road to Atlantic City on our website as well at www.sjsportsdigest. Before we talk to Phil about basketball, Phil, another interesting note in wrestling. Bishop Eustace, of course, recently was mentioned that they were going to shut down the program. You had a great column about that this week. Just wanted to get maybe some of your insight about that and thoughts about the wrestling program at Bishop Eustace.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with James Rafferty, who's a U.S. Army First Lieutenant stationed at Fort Stewart in Georgia. Jimmy's a Bishop Eustace graduate, won a regional title for Bishop Eustace at 135 pounds back in 2007. And, he, like a lot of Eustace alumni, were very upset with the decision to cancel the program. And he spoke very eloquently about the value of wrestling, what it meant to him, how he feels like he probably wouldn't have made it at West Point if not for his wrestling background. And is really passionate about trying to get the program to somehow find a way to continue and survive at Bishop Eustace. And I know a lot of other Eustace alumni and other wrestling people in the area feel that way also. So, I know the administration doesn't want to be backed into a corner or pushed and told what to do, but I think there's some feeling behind the scenes that, there's some thought to maybe trying to restore this program, keep it going, and I hope it is, because I really think there's real value in it. Obviously, the numbers were way down there, but wrestling is a great sport and means a lot to a lot of kids that are involved, and really does some great things in terms of developing some real important traits in young men. So hopefully Eustis will find a way to keep that program going.
One other note about wrestling, by the way, if you are interested in watching the Region 8 wrestling and you're watching our show on Channel 97 in Gloucester County, the Region 8 championships will be on TV next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, March 3rd, 4th, and 5th at noon and 8 p.m. on the Comcast Channel 97, the Gloucester County Education Network, and it also can be seen throughout South Jersey if you have Verizon on Channel 34. Again, that's the Gloucester County Education Network covering the Region 8 finals for you. Let's get into basketball now, though, as we have Phil Anastasia here with us from the Philadephia Inquirer. And Phil, we'll jump right in as we see South Jersey Group 4. Obviously, Toms River North, a team that we don't really talk much about, gets the #1 seed. Toms River East in there at number 14, and Southern at 7. But the rest of the group is all of our area teams. What is the prevailing feeling here? Obviously, Cherry Hill East has had a great season. Atlantic City always competitive, and Cherokee Lenape, from that district as well. But this district is this group is loaded.
No, all you need to look is that first-round game between Eastern and RV. It tells you all you need to know about this particular group. I actually think that winner could win this group. That's how good this group is. That's a tremendous 8-9 game, Eastern and RV. East of the defending champion, they could get West in the second round if form held, which would be a tremendous second-round game. And then Atlantic City, which has won 2 out of the last 3 state titles in Group 4, is the #2 seed. So the West-East winner, if that goes that way, would need to probably go to Atlantic City. So this is a wide-open group. I really think that any one of those Olympic Conference powers or Rancocas Valley could come out with the win in this one, because it's one of those kind of years, a lot of parity, and I think there's a lot of parity in this particular group.
Saying something when the team that's as good as Shawnee is number 10, as a
Right.
number 10 seed too. So let's take a peek at South Jersey Group 3 if we can. And there you see Delsea, the #1 seed, and they have been playing like it as of late. They have really turned it on, Phil, and that is really a team to watch.
Absolutely. Delsey's a very talented team, one of the more talented teams in all of South Jersey. They had a little slip-up last night against Pennsgrove, but they're playing very well, and offensively they're a very explosive team. So they're a defending champion. I think they're clear favorite in this group. Winslow's a team you got to watch. They're a very dangerous team. And there's a couple dark horses in this group also. Highland and Timber Creek, and I think Moorestown, even as a 7 seed, is a dangerous team that's played very well against some good teams. They beat Haddonfield and took Cherry Hill East to overtime. So that's a team to watch as a dark horse in Group 3.
Take a peek at the Group 2 section here in South Jersey. Haddonfield #1, and obviously they've had a great season. They've got some of their Colonial Conference foes in there as well in that group, along with Collingswood joining them in that group as well. Sterling in there also, Phil, and this group and of course, you can't forget about Camden High and Brad Hawkins, who recently scored his 1,000th career point.
Well, Camden's a defending champion. They went into Haddonfield last year and beat them in the semifinals. Haddonfield was 28-0 at the time. Most people seem to think it would be a Camden-Haddonfield rematch in the final this year. That's sort of the chalk. I think middle is the 2, but without their top player, Trey Greer, I think Camden has a good shot at going into middle and winning that game in the state semifinals. But you never know. The Bridgeton-Starling winner will probably go to Haddonfield, and certainly, Starling beat Haddonfield a couple years ago, and Bridgeton's a very talented team. But I think this particular group, in my mind, looks to be Haddonfield and Camden are the clear 2 favorites and are likely to meet in the sectional final at Haddonfield in what would be a tremendous game, and a game that unfortunately a lot of people won't be able to get in to see because there's only a certain amount of room in that Haddonfield gym, and I think a lot of people would want to see that game.
That will be a packed house for sure. Let's take a peek at South Jersey Group 1 if we can, and Paulsboro, again, another team playing very well. The Red Raiders, the #1 seed, and a lot of talent on that squad. You've got Shalleck there with some good depth on that team as well, Phil. Pennsgrove, who you mentioned earlier, knocking off Delsea just the other night. even a number 4 seed in Wildwood. It's this is an interesting group, and I guess the team you want to really point out too. Congratulations, Camden Charter, making it to the postseason.
Yeah, good for them. That's tremendous. I really think Paulsborough's a prohibitive favorite in this group. I mean, they're playing very, very well. You never know, obviously, high school basketball, but I think they're clearly the best team in this group. Although, Schauk has played well. Pensgrove has played well at times. Pensgrove beat Delsey last night, or the other night. So that's, obviously shows what they're capable of. But I just think Paulsborough is playing at a real high level. They got some seniors who have been around. Have actually been 4 years in the tournament and won an awful lot of big games. So I would be very surprised if anybody but the Red Raiders were left standing at the end of this group.
Let's go to the non-public and take a peek at Group A if we can. And St. Augustine with the bye. Phil, they've been, I guess the top team in South Jersey for most of the season and have had just a fantastic year. Didn't get a chance to show their wares against St. Anthony because that game was snowed out in the Cherry Hill East Invitational. But clearly they have been not just the cream of this group of teams, but more so all South Jersey. When you get into this situation in non-public South, you're talking about the teams from Gloucester County, Ocean County, and out there, and that brings a whole new dimension, right, Phil?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, St. Augustine obviously is, the top seed and the favorite, but, they're looking at Union Catholic or St. Joe Metuchen in the semifinals, which would obviously be a very, very difficult game. The Prep has played very well, and, you have to, regard them as the favorite, as the top seed. But nothing's easy in South A. And then on the bottom side of the bracket, Camden Catholic, again, is the top seed there. Or, on the bottom of the bracket is the 2 seed. But they probably would need to beat, Christian Brothers in the semifinals, which would not be an easy game, if the chalk held. And I think Gloucester Catholic at the 6 is a little bit of a dark horse, played pretty well. So, if they could go into CBA and spring the upset there, that would be a real feather in their cap. But this is a very, very difficult group, as always. I mean, when a team like Bishop Eustace, who's capable of beating Shawnee like they did the other night, is the 13th seed, tells you all you need to know about South A.
And we'll take a peek at non-public B in the South, and just a couple of South Jersey teams there. Holy Spirit, the number 8 seed, Moorestown Friends at 13. Wildwood Catholic, number 6. Unfortunately, I guess for the 2 teams there, they have to play their Cape Atlantic League brethren there by facing St. Joe Hamilton in the first round. Phil, that's, I guess, unfortunate for those 2 teams. At least, leaves just one of them standing, whereas if they're playing separate, they could both perhaps advance. But I guess that's an interesting game in terms of talking about what we're interested in.
Well, it's good for the Cape because one of them will make it to the second round. And I think if they weren't playing each other, they could both go out because it's very, very difficult. This group is actually tougher than non-public A, believe it or not. This is just an absolutely loaded group. When a Gill St. Bernard's is the 9th seed and is playing Holy Spirit, I mean, that's just a ridiculously loaded group. I mean, Roselle Catholic, the defending Tournament of Champions, winners, is obviously a loaded number 1 team with Isaiah Briscoe going to Kentucky, and then Trenton Catholic on the bottom with Malachi Richardson going to Syracuse and Miles Powell. They're just a tremendously talented team. So it'll be very, very difficult for any team in the traditional South Jersey area to win more than a game in this group because this is a tremendously loaded group.
And real quick, we could just show Central Group 3 with just 1 South Jersey area team in there. Northern Burlington gets the number 12 seed. There's the rest of the grouping in there. And then, of course, we could pop up Group 2. Willingboro is the 16 seed. Phil, Bordentown, Pemberton face-off. Delran's in there as well. Cinnaminson with the number 15 seed. I don't know what,
I think Pemberton is a team to watch here. They've played very well recently. Second half of the year, they've played very well. They have a tremendous player in junior Ijavian Ivory. Real smooth, silky kind of swing man. So they're a team to watch. That matchup with Bordentown in the 8-9 game is a great game because Bordentown has a real high-scoring junior in Myron Gordon. So that should be a real interesting first-round game. And then the winner, takes its shot and goes into Lakewood as the number 1 seed. And I wouldn't count, Pemberton out in that game because, again, they've played very well the second half of the year. And I think they've been tested by a good schedule, too. So that's kind of a dark horse team to watch in Central Jersey, too.
So that's our preview of the South Jersey teams in the NJSIAA High School Boys Basketball Tournament. Last week we had the girls for you. If you want to take a look back at that, feel free to visit our website and watch the show as Scott Chapelier joins us to talk about that. That's going to do it for our show. I want to remind you also we'll have some high school hockey coverage as the playoffs are underway, as Gloucester Catholic and Bishop Eustace squaring off on Wednesday in the second round of the tournament. And then we'll have quarterfinal coverage, which could potentially have St. Augustine taking on Bishop Eustace in the quarterfinals. Those two teams will have met for the 4th time. Look for that on our website as well at www.sjsportsdigest.com. That's going to do it. I want to thank Jeff Cohen for stopping by, Phil Anastasia. I'm Mike Shute. We'll see you next time.
The proceeding was sponsored by Virtua. To learn more about Virtua Sports Medicine, go to virtua.org/sports medicine. To schedule an appointment, you can speak to a personal navigator at 1-844-678-7001.